Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in to Midnight Affairs Tales. We appreciate every single one of you. We'd love to know what part of the world you are watching from right now. Let us know in the comments. Now, let's dive into today's story. Chapter 1. She slapped me in front of my mom. Thanksgiving. The house smelled like cinnamon and baked ham. My mom had spent all morning perfecting the sweet potato casserole. My niece was trying to set the table without dropping silverware. And Maddie, she was glued to her phone. "Put it down," I whispered, leaning close enough for her to feel the heat of my breath. "Just for today." She didn't even look up, just mumbled something that sounded like, "working." I should have known right then, but I didn't. Dinner started normal, everyone laughing. Football murmuring from the living room. And then my brother Mike, God bless him, tried to toast. "To Logan and Maddie," he said. "You guys survived a tough year. Glad to see you made it through." Maddie froze. I saw her thumb twitch on her phone screen. "Don't do that," she snapped. The whole table went quiet. Mike blinked. I was just, "You don't know what we've been through. So maybe don't pretend you do." The silence stretched like wire. Tense. Waiting to snap. "Maddie," I said gently. "That wasn't necessary." And that's when it happened. She turned, full body, and slapped me. Hard. The sound cracked through the dining room like a gunshot. Silverware clattered. My niece gasped. My mom stood halfway up, unsure if this was some twisted joke. No one moved. Not me. I just sat there, my cheek burning, my heart gone. She grabbed her wine glass, took a sip like nothing had happened, and walked out of the room. I didn't follow, didn't speak. I just stared at my mom's face. She looked at me like she didn't recognize her son anymore. I don't know what broke more, my pride, my family's trust, or whatever was left of the love I thought I still had. Why the hell did she slap me? In front of my family? What kind of game was this? Hey everyone, we've just hit 3,000 subscribers on Midnight Affairs Tales, and I couldn't be more grateful for your love and support. Your passion for deep, emotional, and shocking stories has helped build something truly special here. Now, I've quietly started a new channel. It's called Betrayal Stories Lab. It's a place where I'll share even more powerful stories, full of betrayal, unexpected twists, and unforgettable endings. If you've enjoyed the journey so far, I'd love for you to check it out and be part of this new beginning. Channel link is in the description. Just one click, and you're there. Let's grow this new space together. Our first goal is 1,000 subscribers. And if any story touches you, don't forget to share it. Thank you for always being here. I didn't sleep that night. I stared at the ceiling, her side of the bed cold and untouched. She hadn't come back upstairs. Maybe she was passed out on the couch, or maybe still outside with that damn phone. I didn't care. I was rewinding everything. Every late night she had work. Every weekend trip with the girls. Every fight that made no sense. Every time she cried to make me feel like the bad guy. And I remembered, 2 weeks ago, I came home early. She was in the kitchen, jumped when I walked in. "Jesus, you scared me. You okay?" I asked. She was already turning her phone screen away. "Just tired." That screen. That damn phone. Always tilted just out of my reach. Always on silent. Always locked. And then I thought about last month. I found a dress in the back of her closet. Not her style. New. Tags off. "I got it on sale," she said. "Where'd you wear it?" Why are you asking so many questions, Logan? Deflection. Manipulation. But I hadn't wanted to see it. I was tired. I wanted peace. So I let it go. I showered that morning in silence. Ate cereal like it was gravel. She was gone when I came downstairs, left a sticky note on the fridge. "Out with Rachel. Be back late. Don't wait up." Rachel. The same one who'd posted photos last week from Hawaii. Definitely not local. I checked the GPS on Maddie's car. I'd set it up 2 years ago after it got stolen. It painted a motel 2 towns over. I didn't go there. Not yet. I just sat down, pulled out my laptop, and opened a folder I hadn't touched in months. I labeled a new one, Exit Plan, because this wasn't about catching her anymore. It was about getting out clean and making sure she never saw me coming. It was the one room I never questioned. The guest bedroom at the end of the hall. She turned it into a creative space, whatever that meant. But it was always locked, always off limits. "This is where I decompress," she told me once. Don't mess with my energy. I respected her boundaries. Like an idiot. But tonight, after the slap, the motel GPS, the note on the fridge, I didn't give a damn about her energy. I stood outside that door for 10 full minutes before picking the lock with an old gift card. Took me 3 tries. My hands were shaking. When it opened, the air hit different. Stale. Private. I stepped inside slowly. It wasn't a creative space. It was a vault of secrets. Burner phone on the desk. Lit faintly with a text on screen. He bought it. I'll handle Thanksgiving. Next to it, a crumpled photo. Maddie. Arms around a man I didn't recognize. A hotel bed behind them. She looked relaxed. Familiar. On the wall, a calendar. Every date from the past month had a red dot. Thanksgiving was circled twice. I opened her laptop. She wasn't smart enough to log out. I saw emails. One stood out. 2. legalbrandon27@gmail.com subject. Finalize everything post-holiday. He won't know what hit him. Brandon. I knew the name. She'd mentioned him once. Called him a friend from her book club. My stomach turned. I wasn't just being cheated on. I was being set up. The slap wasn't a fight. It was the opening move. And me? I'd been playing checkers on a chessboard. I stared at that photo for a long time. The guy with Maddie looked like me. Not exactly, but close enough. Same height. Same haircut. Business casual. Same kind of smile I wore when I was still dumb enough to believe she loved me. I saw the pattern instantly. She hadn't replaced me. She'd duplicated me. This wasn't about falling in love with someone new. This was about control. Comfort. Image. She swapped me out like a cracked phone case. Same model, fresh plastic. I walked into the bathroom. Flipped on the light. Looked at myself in the mirror for the first time in days. I looked like him. And I looked like hell. I muttered. She cheated on me with a knockoff. And then it hit me. Why? Brandon wasn't just a fling. He was part of a plan. A lawyer. With access. Influence. Probably coaching her. Making sure I looked unstable. Maybe the slap was staged to provoke me. Maybe there were cameras. Jesus. I went back to the photo, flipped it over. There was a name on the back, scribbled in pen. Brandon's place, 9 halves, first try. Nailed it. First try. Like it was a test run. And that's when I realized something far worse than infidelity. I wasn't just a husband being betrayed. I was a mark being played. She was building a case. Trying to make me snap. Maybe get physical. Get arrested. Make the divorce easy. Maybe take the house. Maybe more. But she made one mistake. She assumed I'd break. I don't break. I disappear. And when I come back, I bring fire. The house was quiet the next morning. Maddie wasn't back yet. Good. I packed a duffel. Not much. A few shirts, charger, hard drives. I left the wedding ring on the kitchen counter. Didn't need it. Didn't need her. In the garage, I disconnected the dash cam from her car. Took the SD card. I left her keys on the front step. And before I walked out, I opened her laptop one last time and planted something simple, a folder on the desktop called, "You Always Were Sloppy." Inside it, the motel GPS location, screenshots of the burner phone messages, and that photo of her with Brandon. Let her stew. I drove to a storage unit I'd been paying for but never used. Locked everything inside, passports, legal docs, backup phone, the works. I wasn't just leaving. I was erasing myself from her reach. I booked a week at a small-town lodge 3 hours south, cash only. No digital trace. No calls. No texts. Just silence. But in that silence, I started watching. I created a fake number. Started texting from it. Just one message at first. "I know everything. You shouldn't have slapped me." Waited. An hour later, Maddie replied. "Who is this?" Then again. "Logan." She called the number twice. I didn't answer. I wanted her spinning. Scared. Off balance. This wasn't revenge yet. This was pressure. A warning shot. I stared at my burner phone screen, thumb hovering over the keyboard. And I thought, do I want her to suffer, or do I want her to see everything fall while I stand still? Both. The motel was a nothing place off Highway 57. Beige walls. Thin pillows. Buzzing AC. Perfect. I spent 3 days there in silence. I didn't drink. Didn't sleep much either. I wasn't numb. I was sharp. Focused. Every memory of her betrayal was fuel. I mapped everything out on a legal pad. Timeline of lies. List of names. Her friends. Family. Brandon. Their workplaces. Their patterns. I didn't need to hurt her. I needed to make her undo herself. And for that, I had to start small. First target, Rachel, her alibi friend. I found her Instagram. She'd been in Tulum. Sunsets, cocktails, obvious lies. I made a burner account and messaged Maddie's cousin, Heather. Hey, thought you should know Maddie was lying to you all. Rachel wasn't even in town on Thanksgiving. Ask her. Sent. Logged out. Burned the account. 3 hours later, Heather posted a cryptic quote on Facebook. Funny how people fake the loudest. Maddie's circle was cracking. One message at a time. That night, I stood outside the motel in the cold, smoking a cigarette I didn't even like. Just thinking, how many other people had she lied to? What other plays were coming? What was Brandon's role in all this? I knew one thing for sure. They thought I'd collapse. They thought I'd scream, cry, beg, break. They didn't count on silence. They didn't count on me vanishing. They didn't know I was watching, waiting. And now, they won't know what hits them next. 2 days after my anonymous message, Maddie cracked. I didn't hear it from her. I heard it from Marla, her old coworker, who once had a crush on me and still followed me on a dead Facebook account I barely touched. She DM'd me out of the blue. Hey, I probably shouldn't say anything, but Maddie's been blowing up in the office. Said someone's stalking her. Freaking out. HR got involved. I stared at the message. Smiled. It was working. Maddie lived for control, her image, her narrative, her power. She could lie, cheat, even plan to destroy me. But what she couldn't handle? The unknown. The silence. So I whispered again. I bought a voice modulator app. Messed with pitch. Distorted the audio. Called from a prepaid number. Left her a voicemail. Maddie, you shouldn't have slapped me. You shouldn't have lied. You're not safe in your lies anymore. I didn't threaten her. I didn't curse. Just made it clear someone was watching. Then I sent her a single image. A photo of her and Brandon walking into that motel. Her head down. His hand on her back. Taken from a camera I didn't own. She called the number 4 times in 10 minutes. I let it ring out. And for the first time in weeks, she was the one drowning in silence. She texted Brandon, "We need to meet." He's not backing off. I think he knows everything. I read that through a data grab I pulled off her laptop before I left. She doesn't know I have access to her synced iCloud messages. She doesn't know what I took from that room. But she's about to find out how far down the rabbit hole I've already gone. I drove back upstate under a different name. Rented a car. Changed the plates. Wore a hoodie, grew out my stubble. Nobody recognized me. Except for her. Lena. Maddie's best friend since college. Maid of honor at our wedding. Godmother to our non-existent future kids. Also, one of the people who helped Maddie cheat. I knew it the second I saw the Rachel text came from Lena's phone. She'd sent it to help cover Maddie's lie. She was in on the fake alibis, the planted stories, the he's just paranoid routine. I caught her leaving her Pilates class. Approached her by the sidewalk. Calm. No threats. Just a quiet presence. She flinched when she saw me. Logan, you look well. Jesus, you can't just show up like that. Sure I can, I said. You're not a stranger. You're just a liar. Her lips parted like she wanted to argue. Then shut again. I handed her an envelope. Inside, screenshots of texts, calendar logs, metadata from photos. You helped her lie. You helped her destroy a man who never laid a hand on her. But I'm not here to scream. I'm here to give you a chance. She swallowed hard. What chance? You tell the truth, I said. Or I make sure every employer, every person in your life, knows exactly who you are. I didn't know it'd go this far, save it. I walked away before she could finish. She didn't chase me. Just stood there, holding the weight of her own guilt in her shaking hands. And that's when I knew the loyalty Maddie built, it wasn't loyalty. It was leverage. And I was pulling every nail out of the frame. Brandon was slick. Corporate attorney. Early 30s. Expensive watch. Bad taste in cufflinks. Thought he was untouchable. He was also reckless online. I created a fake profile. No name. No face. Just enough curated content to look like a bored, attractive woman. dropped a few subtle DMs, left a digital trail that read, "I like discreet. You." It took less than 48 hours for Brandon to reply. "Depends who's asking. You local?" I fed him lines. Let him chase the mystery. He started sexting 2 days later. By the fourth day, I had everything. Screenshots, voice notes, a video call request he sent while Maddie was at work. I saved it all to a private folder. Trust fund trash. Then I sent it to Maddie. No caption, no subject, just the raw, unfiltered truth of the man she betrayed me for. She didn't respond, but her next message to Brandon came in fast. "Did you cheat on me too?" He replied with a stall. She pressed harder. He ghosted her. And just like that, her safe place? Gone. Her shiny replacement for me? Fake. The man she chose over her husband? A carbon copy with less loyalty. That's when I realized something deeper. This wasn't just about hurting her back. This was about freeing myself from the lie I'd been living in. I wasn't her victim anymore. I was becoming the author of her undoing. And this? This was just chapter 1. Maddie's parents always liked me. Her mother once told me I was the first man she'd ever brought home who made her feel calm. Safe. Her dad used to email me about stocks. He called me son by our second Christmas together. So when Maddie told them we were on a break, I knew that was her version of hiding the truth. Slap it in a prettier wrapper. Avoid the shame. I decided to unwrap it for them. I mailed them a letter, handwritten, no return address. Inside were 3 things: a photo of Maddie and Brandon leaving the motel, a screenshot of their messages, a short note. She didn't just cheat. She tried to bury me. I loved her. Please understand that. No threats. No begging. Just truth. And a match. 2 days later, Maddie posted a photo of herself at brunch. The comments were off, but I saw her dad's account remove her as a family member on Facebook. Her mom changed her profile pic to one without Maddie in it. I knew that sting. I'd lived it once, when Maddie's slap turned my family against me in a single second. Now, she felt that same fracture, that same silence. The difference was, I didn't burn those bridges. She lit her own match, and I was just making sure everyone saw the smoke. Brandon was a lawyer, but he wasn't my lawyer, and that's what he forgot. I'd known a guy from college, Tarek. Quiet, smart, ruthless when needed. He worked in family law now. I sent him a message from a new number. I want to divorce a liar, and I want her to lose. He responded in 5 minutes. We met in a diner off I-90. Nothing fancy. Eggs, coffee, and spreadsheets. Tarek slid a folder across the table. Prenup clause says if she commits infidelity, and it can be proved publicly or privately, she gets 0 alimony. You have that proof. I nodded. I have video, timestamps, and a full message thread. With metadata. He smiled. Then she's screwed. That day we filed. No warning. No call. Maddie was served while walking out of a hair appointment. She called me 6 times in a row. Left voicemails that swung between fury and desperation. "You can't do this like that. Logan, can we talk? Please. This is low. Even for you." She tried to flip it. Pretend like she hadn't already set the trap first. I didn't answer. Tarek texted me. "We're good." She doesn't have a leg to stand on. I stared at the message, heart steady. This wasn't revenge. It was justice with receipts. I drove back to town for the first time in months. Not to see her. Not to confront anyone. I just wanted to breathe the same air as my old life, long enough to confirm I didn't need it anymore. I parked outside my mother's house. Sat there with the engine off, watching my little niece run around the front yard. She was laughing, untouched by all this adult poison. Inside, I could see my family prepping again, another Thanksgiving. Another attempt at normal. Then Maddie pulled up. She was wearing sunglasses, even though it was cloudy. Her hair tied tight. No smile. She stepped out of her car like the sidewalk hurt her feet. She saw me through the windshield. Froze. I didn't move. Her lips parted, maybe to speak. I rolled my window down slowly. She walked up. "You can't just show up like this," she said. Voice low. Tight. "Why not?" I asked calmly. "You did it last year. Worked out great for you." "That was a mistake." "No," I cut her off. "That was the most honest thing you've ever done." She blinked fast. Looked down. "I'm sorry, Logan." I watched her closely. No, Maddie. You're scared. Not sorry. There's a difference. She looked like she wanted to cry, but no tears came. I didn't yell. I didn't insult her. I just sat there, windows down, engine silent. Then I drove off without another word. And she stood there, watching me leave for the second time. But what she didn't know was what I had just uncovered the night before. And everything was about to shift again. It started with a USB drive. I almost didn't check it. It was a backup I pulled from Maddie's laptop weeks ago, but I hadn't dug deep. I thought I had everything I needed, but something didn't sit right. Her fear felt too calculated. The slap felt planted, not emotional. So I searched deeper. Inside a hidden folder named Taxes 2019, I found 3 documents: a drafted email to a divorce attorney, dated 2 months before Thanksgiving, a file titled Logan_behavior_tracker.xlsx, and a PDF labeled Incident Report Pre-Submission. The spreadsheet had my name across 27 rows. Each row was a journal entry, things she claimed I'd said or done. Logan raised his voice after drinking. Logan punched a cabinet during a fight. Logan made me feel unsafe twice this week. All of it false, but written like a diary. Detailed, precise. The PDF? It was a formal draft for a restraining order. She hadn't filed it. Not yet, but it was filled out. Ready. With her lawyer's name at the bottom, Brandon Keller. I sat back in the motel chair, hands shaking. The slap on Thanksgiving wasn't about anger. It was a trigger, a trap. She wanted a reaction, a shove, a shout, something she could spin into police involvement, into court orders, into a clean victory. She was playing chess, and I had no idea I'd been on the board. Not until now. I stared at my own name on that spreadsheet and whispered, "You really tried to ruin me." And for the first time in this whole mess, I didn't feel pain. I felt purpose. I needed evidence, not just screenshots. I needed something undeniable, something courtroom solid. And I knew exactly where to start. Brandon was a corporate attorney, but Maddie? She wasn't careful enough to separate church and state. She used the same email for everything. I logged into an old shared cloud account, something we'd forgotten we'd made during a vacation to plan flights and expenses. It was still synced to her phone, and she had no idea. I scrolled past calendar entries and receipts until I hit audio logs. One caught my eye. Session with Brandon, October 18th, prep notes. I played it. Static, at first. Then Maddie's voice. So if I push him hard enough, like, publicly, he might snap, right? That's what we'd need. Brandon's voice replied, "You don't have to make him actually violent. You just need it to look like you were scared. File the documentation. Be the first one to talk to HR, your friends, your therapist. Build the case before you file." She laughed. This is going to be clean. He won't even see it coming. I stopped the recording, stared at my reflection in the dark laptop screen. She didn't cheat because she was bored. She didn't fall out of love. She wanted to erase me cleanly, legally, like I never existed. And now? Now I had proof of intent. This wasn't just a betrayal of love. This was a premeditated takedown. And I was going to make sure she paid for every single word she said in that recording. I wasn't the only one Maddie had lied to. I remembered someone. Quiet. Forgotten. Tasha. Brandon's ex. They dated briefly. He ghosted her after Maddie came into the picture. I found her Instagram. Still public. Still angry. I messaged her from a clean account. No games. I have evidence Brandon helped commit relationship fraud and legal manipulation. If you want to know what really happened to you, and to me, message back. It took 3 hours. Then came a reply. Meet me. Tomorrow. I want to burn them both. We met at a park outside the city. She wore a hoodie, no makeup. Sat like she was ready for war. I told her everything. Played the recording. Showed the spreadsheet. Her face didn't move. Then she pulled out her phone and slid it to me. Look at this. Dozens of texts. Voice notes. A video of Brandon bragging to his friend that he was helping some girl make her loser husband look unstable so she could flip the prenup. I nearly laughed. It was perfect. Together, we made a plan. She had old photos, private voicemails, even metadata from Brandon's office emails. We compiled a file called Character Assassination, Master Copy. When I looked at her and asked why she was helping me, she said, because no one ever helped me. And watching a snake eat its own tail? That's worth my time. For the first time in months, I didn't feel alone. I felt armed. And Maddie? She had no idea how deep the ground under her was starting to crack. The first hit wasn't loud. It was silent. Tasha emailed Maddie's HR department, anonymously, attaching a file titled Ethical Conflict, Employee Engaging in Legal Fraud. Inside, the audio recording, screenshots of Brandon and Maddie's texts, and a timeline. 3 hours later, Maddie's company opened an internal ethics review. By the end of the week, she was suspended pending investigation. She posted nothing, said nothing. The usual selfies and brunch shots went dead. Stories stopped. Her digital footprint vanished overnight. And I kept feeding the fire. I emailed one of her clients, a nonprofit she used to represent on the side. Just a tip. Just a line. If you care about your image, I'd advise distancing from Maddie K. Attached, her quote laughing about manipulating a divorce. They dropped her within 48 hours. Tasha called me after the news hit. You know what I love about quiet revenge, she said. They have to live with it longer. She was right. This wasn't fire and fury. This was suffocation. Reputation, influence, social ties, all going black one by one. Maddie always controlled her image. She needed it. And now it was slipping like sand through her fingers. This was just the beginning. Brandon thought he was safe. He hadn't spoken to Maddie since she confronted him. Try to ghost her. Play like nothing ever happened. So I made sure everyone knew what he'd been hiding. First stop, his fiancée. Yes, fiancée. Not Maddie. Her name was Chelsea. She'd been with him for 3 years. Same time he'd been advising Maddie. Tasha dropped the bomb personally. Sent Chelsea a drive filled with every cheating receipt we had. A video of Brandon flirting with fake me. A voicemail of him laughing about gaslighting a husband for fun. Screenshots of him bragging to a friend about getting paid under the table to act like a divorce coach. Chelsea didn't say a word. She posted instead a photo of Brandon's face covered in red marker. Caption, I don't share. I don't forgive. I don't forget. Within a day, Brandon's firm suspended him. By the end of the week, he'd lawyered up. But it was too late. Clients dropped him. Colleagues ghosted him. The Bar Association got an anonymous ethics complaint. And Maddie? She texted him that night. We ruined each other. Congratulations. He didn't reply. He was too busy watching his career go up in smoke. I had one more move before the public collapse. A slow, quiet financial chokehold. Tarek, my lawyer, filed a motion to freeze our joint accounts. Based on suspected financial misconduct. We had enough. Maddie had funneled marital funds into separate accounts. Some under her name. Some in cash withdrawals. Tarek made it airtight. Maddie got the news on a Thursday. She tried to log into our main account to pay a credit card. Access denied. She called the bank. They told her it was a legal freeze. She texted me, you can't do this. I need access. I replied, for the first time in weeks. You needed honesty. You chose war. Welcome to the consequences. No reply. But I got a call that night from her mother. Logan, what's going on? Maddie's falling apart. She said you're ruining her. I'm not ruining her, I said, calmly. I'm just holding up a mirror. I could hear the heartbreak in her voice. But it wasn't mine to fix. She chose this. She chose all of it. And now? Now she'd lost her job, her support system, her lover, her money, and she hadn't even seen the final move yet. That was coming. But first, she needed to taste what it felt like to have no way out. She thought it was a prank. When Maddie opened the invitation, I know she stared at it for a long time. Cream-colored envelope. No return address. Inside, a simple, formal invite. You are cordially invited to the wedding of Logan M. Crane and Harper Elise date, November 11th venue. The Silos, Hudson Valley 6:30 p.m. reception to follow. She hadn't heard the name Harper before. That's because I'd kept her private. Hidden. Safe from the wreckage. Harper was real. Steady. A calm after a storm. Not a rebound, not a pawn. Someone who helped me rebuild myself without asking for anything in return. She didn't need to be part of the war, but she understood it. Are you sure about this? She asked when I told her Maddie would receive the invite. I nodded. She needs to see it. I wasn't doing it to gloat. I was doing it so Maddie would know. She didn't end me. She freed me. 2 nights before the ceremony, I got a text. Unknown number. You're seriously getting married? After all that, I didn't reply. 2 minutes later, another text. You're punishing me. Still, silence. Then the final one. She doesn't know who you really are. I smiled. Because she didn't either. It was a voicemail. One I wasn't supposed to hear. Tasha sent it to me. She'd gotten it from Maddie's phone through a synced backup Maddie forgot to disconnect. In the recording, Maddie's new roommate was whispering to someone. It happened again last night. She fell asleep on the couch, started crying in her sleep. Said your name. My name. Logan. She didn't say Brandon. Didn't say her father. She whispered mine. Like a prayer. Like a ghost that wouldn't leave. I played it 3 times. And I felt nothing. No satisfaction. No pity. Just the weight of everything she'd ruined. She never wanted to lose me. She just wanted control. The cheating? That was a power move. The slap? A performance. The setup? A calculated risk. And when she lost it all, she realized too late what she'd thrown away. But this wasn't a love story. It was a story about choosing peace over chaos. And I wasn't hers anymore. I was never going to be again. The venue was small. Intimate. Quiet on purpose. No drama. No spectacle. Just people who knew who I was now, not who I used to be. But somehow, Maddie still showed up. She wasn't invited. She wasn't dressed for it. Just a black coat, tight lips, and red eyes. She stood in the back during the ceremony. Said nothing. Did nothing. Until after the vows. I saw her walking up the aisle shaky, unsure, but moving with intention. Harper noticed. Squeezed my hand. I turned to face Maddie as she stood just 10 feet from us. People shifted uncomfortably. No one said a word. Maddie opened her mouth, but no words came out. So I spoke first. Don't, I said quietly. This isn't for you. It never was. She blinked hard. The tears were real, but they were hers to keep now. I never stopped loving you, she said, almost breathless. I stopped loving the idea of you, I replied. And I stopped letting pain write my story. She nodded. Just once. Then turned and walked out. No scene. No apology. Just exit. And I let her go for the last time. The wedding was over. The photos were being taken under soft light. Harper was laughing with my sister. People clinked glasses. Smiles. Peace. And I stepped away for a moment. Alone on the side porch. Just me, my breath, and the cold air. I hadn't written vows to read out loud. I wrote them in private. For myself. For Maddie, really. I pulled out the old folded paper from my coat. The one I never read at the ceremony. I read it now, under my breath. You taught me how far love can bend before it breaks. How silence cuts deeper than words. How betrayal doesn't always look like shouting. It can look like routine. I used to wonder what I did wrong. What I missed. Now I know. I didn't miss it. I ignored it. Because I wanted us to work more than I wanted to see the truth. You didn't break me. You woke me up. I folded the note. Let the wind take it. I didn't need to burn it. Or bury it. I just needed it gone. Behind me, Harper stepped out. Thought I'd find you out here, she said. I turned. Just saying goodbye to a ghost. She smiled. Then let's go dance with the living. I kissed her. And in that moment, I knew. Maddie would never hear the words I wrote. And that was the most powerful thing I could give myself. Closure. Silence. Peace. 3 days after the wedding, it happened. A video surfaced on TikTok. Not from me. Not from Tasha. Just some random guest who filmed a piece of the wedding. And caught Maddie's walk of shame down the aisle after crashing it. No tantrum. No speech. Just her, broken. Out of place. The caption read, POV, your ex shows up to your wedding like it's a movie scene and still walks out alone. It blew up. 800K views in 2 days. The comments were brutal. She walked in like she still mattered. No one even looked at her. That silence was loud. Karma doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers while everyone watches. Someone eventually figured out who she was. Screenshots. Context. The old cheating scandal resurfaced. Then came the viral Reddit thread. Woman tries to sabotage ex's life, crashes his wedding a year later, still loses. Every detail, every move she made. People connected dots, reposted the HR scandal, the lawyer mess, the screenshots. She became the story, but not the one she tried to write. She was the villain now. No edits, no gaslighting, just truth. The saddest part? No one clapped for her. No friends defending her. No allies speaking up. Even the people who once pitted her fell silent. She stood alone in a story where she used to be the lead. And me? I didn't even have to say a word. Because the truth speaks loudest when you leave your hands clean. It's funny how fast people forget names. A year ago, Maddie's name held weight. Social circles, her firm, community events. She walked into a room like a spotlight followed her. Now, she walks in, and people look away. Or worse, they recognize her for the wrong reasons. That wedding video kept circulating. The Reddit thread made it to YouTube narrators. Then podcasts. She became a cautionary tale. Remember that woman who tried to stage a fake abuse case and got exposed at her ex's wedding? That's who she was now. Not Maddie. Just that woman. And the best part? I never had to destroy her. She did it herself. All I did was step out of the way and let gravity finish the fall. But I gave her one final gift. I made a donation in her name to the nonprofit she once claimed to care so deeply about when she was playing the role of good wife. They posted publicly, "Thank you to Logan Crane for his generous donation in honor of Maddie K. We hope this serves as a reminder that good can grow from hard lessons." Every time she Googles herself, she'll see that. Not the affair. Not the collapse. Not the scandal. Just me doing good in her name. That's the last weight I handed her. Because real revenge is showing them how bright you shine after they tried to bury you, and making sure they have to watch. I sold the house. There was nothing left inside it but echoes of a version of me I'd outgrown. The kitchen where she lied. The hallway where I doubted myself. The bedroom that saw silence louder than screaming. Gone. I moved upstate, somewhere quieter. Closer to the water. Somewhere you can hear your own thoughts and still sleep at night. Harper came with me. Not as a trophy. Not as a rebound. But as someone who held space for my healing without needing to fix me. We didn't rush. We didn't force anything. We just showed up for each other honestly. Consistently. The kind of love that doesn't need noise to feel real. Sometimes I think about that Thanksgiving. The sting on my face. The silence at the table. The look in my mother's eyes when Maddie stormed off like I was the problem. But that wasn't the day I lost everything. It was the day I found the truth. That peace isn't earned by fighting louder. It's found in letting go of anyone who makes you smaller to feel bigger. When I packed my bag that night, I didn't just walk out of a marriage. I walked out of a performance I'd been tricked into starring in. And Maddie? She stayed behind. In her lies. In her ego. In the story she still rewrites to make herself the victim. She thought I'd come back. She thought the silence was weakness. But she never understood the kind of power it takes to walk away without looking back. I healed. I built something real. I didn't win by hurting her back. I won by never needing to. And that slap? That was the last time she ever touched my life. If you felt this story, like, share, comment, subscribe, because the next revenge story? It's coming soon. Until then, take care of yourself. And don't let anyone write your ending but you.